Hello my dear friends and net aspirants, welcome back to High Point again. In this video, we'll be looking at one of the major feminist literary critic, Elaine Showalter, who contributed immensely to feminism by coining the term Gynocriticism and also explaining three phases of feminism that we will see later in this video. And she was born in the year 1941. And if you are a first time listener of our channel, you can subscribe to our channel if you are interested, and also press the bell icon while you subscribe so that you get a notification whenever we upload a video in here. And also visit my website www.highpoint.in if you are seriously looking for some online courses for your NET JRF English examination preparation. And also follow me on Instagram so that you get variety of materials in my Instagram page. If you are also there on Instagram, you can follow me there. And if you wanted to know more about the course details, the study materials and anything, and the offers and the free bonuses that we are sharing, that we are giving for our students through our website, then you can use this number. Okay, moving on about Elaine Showalter, we will have details about her life which are relevant, and also about her career as a feminist literary critic. Let's have an introduction about her. She was believed to be the founding figure of feminism in United States academia. So she is believed to be the founding figure who started. She is the pioneer feminist literary critic in US academia. She is widely acclaimed for developing the concept and practice of gynocritics, a term denoting the study of women writers. So she mainly coined this term, even gynocriticism. About that term and explanations and facts related to that, details related to that term, we will see later in this video. Showalter specialized in Victorian literature. Her main study she done in Victorian literature, and her most important works were on hysteria and madness in women's writing. Hysteria and madness in women's writing. Do remember these little details. Showalter made a path-breaking contribution in the field by mapping the female tradition going through three phases of feminism. Apart from coining the term gynocriticism, she also made a great contribution by finding the female tradition going through three phases of feminism. She was actually mapping the female literary tradition of these ages, and she divided that entire tradition, female tradition in literature, through three phases of feminism. Showalter was awarded the Guggenheim Fellowship and Rockefeller Humanities Fellowship, and she served as the president of the Modern Language Association (MLA). And in 2007, she was the chair of judges for the prestigious British Literary Award, the Man Booker International Prize. She is credited with coining the term gynocritics. The term valued the female perspective in reading of literary works. We will see this particular term while we discuss about the key concepts that she contributed into feminist literary criticism. Okay, now let's see the major works contributed and created by Elaine Showalter. Women's Liberation and Literature, published in 1971. Women's Liberation and Literature, published in 1971. A literature of their own. Please do remember that this work was written by Showalter in the year 1977, The Female Malady in 1985, Speaking of Gender in 1989, Sexual Anarchy in 1990, Sister's Choice in 1991, Daughters of Decadence in 1993, Historical Epidemics and Modern Literature in 1997, Inverting Herself in 2001, Teaching Literature in 2002, Faculty Towers in 2005, The Civil Wars of Julia Ward Howe, a biography published in the year 2016. Actually, she was a prolific writer like many other literary critics of that of 20th century, and she has written many other works. I just picked some important ones. I picked the important titles. Okay, I'll read the titles again, read along with me. Women's Liberation and Literature, A Literature of Their Own, The Female Malady, Speaking of Gender, Sexual Anarchy, Sister's Choice, Daughters of Decadence, Historical Epidemics and Modern Culture, Inverting Herself, Teaching Literature, Faculty Towers, The Civil War of Julia Ward Howe, a biography. So she has composed a biography of whom? Julia Ward Howe. And the title goes like this: The Civil Wars of Julia Ward Howe, a biography, which was published in 2016. Now let's move on to the major concepts and terms put forwarded by Elaine Showalter. First one is Gynocriticism. It was coined by Showalter to describe a new literary project intended to construct a female framework for the analysis of women's literature. See, if you look at the English canon especially, you cannot see much works were written by female authors. She was mapping the entire history of female tradition in literature, and she came up with a issue that, the norms of criticism is all based on, it's not based on female concepts or female discourse. Female discourse is not considered when we analyze a work, because female writers were very few. Their works were judged on the basis of the frameworks created upon male discourses or male terms and conditions or male perception about this world. Okay, so it is a very much a need that we construct a new female framework for the analysis of women's literature. Women's literature cannot be judged under the norms or under the under the rules and regulations which was constructed based on men's ideologies and men's or patriarchal ideology, we can say, or patriarchal discourses and patriarchal perceptions. Okay, so but women's literature should be seen in a different angle, because it's something different. It's not the perception of men. It's a different kind of discourse, different kind of perception that we can see in women's literature. So a female framework is needed. That framework that she termed and coined as Gynocriticism. It sought to develop new models based on the study of female experience to replace male models of literary creation by expanding the historical study of women writers as a distinct literary tradition. So she says that women writers and women's literary tradition is totally a different tradition, a distinct tradition. So it sought to develop new models based on the study of female experience. So it's a new kind of model. Criticism, for literary criticism, Gynocriticism is a kind of new model for literary criticism based on the study of female experiences to replace the male model of literary creation by expanding the historical study of women writers as a distinct literary tradition. So you can see in literary canon, in English literary canon especially, you can see this, that about male's perception about how should a women should be, what is the perception of women, what is the experience of women, it was mainly said by male writers. So female writing itself is a new kind of model, new kind of ideology that it put forwards. So in order to criticize that kind of female experiences, female discourse, you need a new kind of criticism. That is Gynocriticism. Okay, how she brings about it? By expanding the historical study of women writers as a distinct literary tradition. So women writers and their literary tradition is a kind of different and distinct kind of literary tradition, not a same kind of tradition that was followed by men in all these years. Okay, now Gynocriticism challenged a Freudian psychoanalytical perspective whereby a female inherently suffers envy of men and feeling of inadequacy and injustice combined with the feelings of intellectual inferiority. So Gynocriticism even challenges Freudian psychoanalytic perception that females are there inherently, they are envy of men. Women may feel envy of men because they are getting too much freedom, because they are getting too much spaces everywhere, wherever they are going. For that, maybe women are feeling envy of men, but they are not inherently suffer this envy for men. That is true, but when Freud discusses about Electra complex, he especially says that female, he emphasizes, and he even creates the idea that female inherently suffers in view of men and feelings of inadequacy and injustice. So say they are envious of men because of this inadequacy, because of this injustice, combined feeling of intellectual inferiority. So they are intellectually too inferior to men. So Freud's psychoanalysis theory bring about such a perspective about women. Okay, so gynocriticism also challenges that. Gynocriticism stresses that this prejudice has concealed the female literary tradition to the point of imitating the masculine. So gynocriticism stresses and emphasizes that this prejudice about females, this prejudice about women, that they are inferior, they are intellectually inferior, they are lacking something, they are not absolute, they are envy of men inherently, and they feel inadequacy and injustice inherently. They are there is an injustice happened. No, it never happened inherently they don't have any envy for men, because they are capable. Both the genders, and as many as genders are there out there, all of them took birth in the same way. So there is no inherently they are suffering envy of men or any other gender, but this is just a prejudice. So it has concealed the female literary tradition. So because of this prejudice of females or women's intellectual inferiority, their inherent suffering of envy of men, their feeling of inadequacy, and their inherent feeling for injustice and all, because of this prejudice they concealed female literary tradition. That's the main reason how female writers or women writers, they got very little representation in the pre-modern ages of English literature. So they were initially imitating masculine discourses, masculine way of writing and structures. All these things are challenged by gynocriticism, because women's literature, women's perception, women's experiences need to be judged and criticized using some new new codes of rules, new codes of analysis need to be developed. Okay, that is gynocriticism. Gynocriticism is mainly female writings or women's writings were discussed and analyzed and critiqued by female critics only. Okay, so that's the main thing about gynocriticism. Now let's see second key contribution by Elaine Showalter, phases of feminism. She recognizes three phases of feminism. First one is feminine. This happened from 1840 to 1880. It's a phase of limitation for female writers. In this feminine phase, there are a lot of limitation when women writers like George Eliot wrote with male pseudonyms. So here they were female writers, they were writing under the pseudonyms of male names, and also they were facing many limitations to bring about their experiences, because they brought about their works under the disguise of male writers, and also they were imitating male discourses, they are imitating male experiences as well. The second phase begins in 1880 and it extended up to 1920. It is known as feminist phase. This phase of protest, this is a phase of protest where women recognized that they also needed to have a separate space for them. They all are their experiences are also eligible to have a space in literary canon. So it's a phase of protest when women want voting rights. So if politically also lot of women activists emerged, writers emerged, and from 1880 to 1920 we have feminist phase. The third one is female phase. It is from 1922 till around 1960, when women's writing entered a new phase of self-awareness. So here we cannot find much protest against the male writers and main tradition and male discourse and experiences that we can see in literature. But here they also realized that females also realized there is no need of protest. There is no, we realized that we are superior or equal to men, and our writings, they are eligible. There is no need that we protect to male writers, male perception, and we emphasize this thing. There is no need that it is true that we have eligibility. Our experiences need to be recorded, and what a woman say about, what a woman say about a woman, or what a woman says about her own experiences, that is more valid than the male discourse, male experiences, and their descriptions in literature that we can see about women in their work. So there is no need of protest. So it's a kind of realization happened to female writers. So that is the female stage, female phase of feminism. So it's a phase of self-awareness. So that's all about Elaine Showalter. If you have any doubt and if you have any suggestions in order to make my videos more clear and more more valid, you can make all those comments in the comment section. Also follow me on Instagram, and also visit my website if you want to know what you need to cover for your entire NTE UGC NET JRF English Language and Literature. Okay, meet you in the next video session. Until then, stay tuned to High Point. Bye bye. Thank you.